my candidacy as an independent candidate for constituency 31, Southampton West Central. For those who may not know me, I'm Juanae Crockwell, a millennial woman, mother, holistic counselor, and community advocate. I was born and raised and still reside on Seymour Farm Road in Southampton. In fact, we are standing in my living room right now. I attended Port Royal Primary School and Bermuda Institute, and my three sons, Skylar, Micah, and Michael, have each attended Port Royal School and play football with the Southampton Rangers youth program. This area has been their playground, as it was mine, and the people here have been an integral part of the village helping to raise them. I am no stranger to hardship or mistakes. I have overcome significant challenges, rebuilding my life from rock bottom and lifting others as I climb. I hold a bachelor's of arts in humanities and a master's in community development, along with certifications in holistic human development and counseling. Currently, I serve as the executive director of a nonprofit in Bermuda, a role that allows me to draw on both personal and professional experiences to advocate on behalf of Bermuda's most vulnerable. I have been involved in advocacy initiatives, including serving on government boards and committees, and as a founding member of Social Justice Bermuda. I take to heart the words of Muhammad Ali, who said, "Service to others is the rent we pay for our room here on earth." Service is a core value of mine, guiding both my personal and professional decisions. And so representing my country as a civic leader is the next step in my advocacy journey, elevating my grassroots activism to the legislative level. This decision has not been made lightly. I've been contemplating this step since 2015. At that time, my children were still very young, just 4 and 1, and I was in the midst of personal and professional transitions. But over the last decade, I have enthusiastically followed Bermuda's political landscape. Through social media, I have worked to help break down our parliamentary system for voters, provide updates on parliamentary proceedings, and offer nonpartisan commentary on party platforms and election coverage. I've studied Bermuda's political parties, the PLP, UBP, OBA, and now the FDM, and even considered involvement. But time and time again, I have come to the same conclusion. Party politics is no longer serving Bermuda or her people. As a student of history, I understand the critical role that political parties played in Bermuda's past. The formation of the Progressive Labour Party in the 1960s was a necessary step toward equity within our parliamentary system, and the United Bermuda Party emerged as a result. At that time, this approach was essential for social and political progress. However, today, the party system, in my opinion, has outlived its usefulness. Instead of fostering progress and unity, it often stifles innovation and deepens the divisions that plague our small island home. What was once the solution has now become the problem. And I believe that it's my generation's turn to drive positive political change. Just as the suffragettes and the organizers of the Bermudiana Theater boycott, the progressive group and other community advocates of the past wrote history, it is now our turn. We can continue on our current political and social trajectory, or we can come together to make the changes required for true and meaningful progress. For these reasons, and many more, I am putting myself forward as an agent of change. Today, I'm excited to launch a website, www.crockwell31.com, which provides information about me, my values, my key priorities. The site also includes an extensive FAQ section addressing many of the public's questions about how independent MPs can benefit Bermuda's parliamentary system and the country as a whole. I will continue my canvassing efforts throughout the election and beyond, because this is not just about the 2025 election. And I look forward to connecting with more of my neighbors. Residents of Constituency 31 can reach out to me directly via email at juanaecrockwell@gmail.com, or by telephone at 591-7167, or on my website, which I'm pretty excited about. You can actually schedule a time for me to come by and chat in case I miss you in my canvassing efforts. You can connect with me on social media on both Facebook and Instagram at Juanae Crockwell. I'm truly excited about this next phase of my advocacy journey, but more importantly, I'm excited about the opportunities that this election presents for meaningful change in Bermuda. In closing, I want to reference a recent comment made by our Honorable Premier, David Burt, in an interview with Bermuda Broadcasting Company last week. He said, "The reality is that this election is about a choice between the Progressive Labor Party and the One Bermuda Alliance. And today, I'm here to offer the constituents of Constituency 31 and the people of Bermuda another choice." Thank you. Any questions?
Good morning, Gareth.
Good morning.
Just two questions. First of all, if we did have a government made up entirely of independent MPs, how would that government be able to function, really? How would it be able to govern? If you all have different ideas, different views on certain policies, how would it work?
Well, what I would just like to emphasize is that whether the government is made up of MPs who are part of a political party or MPs who are independents, we all are individuals who have our own individual thoughts and opinions and ideas for what will most and best benefit Bermuda. And so irregardless, we have to come together. And I think we forget that the government is made up of the ruling party's elected members and any other elected members. And so the government has to come together regardless. And so it will be the same. If we had a government made up entirely of independent candidates, we would work together. We would form what is being referred to as a coalition. Independent members will come together to vote and elect a premier to lead the government. And we would work together. And as I hope Bermuda can already see, that those of us who are involved in the independent movement are committed to that, working together with our varied ideas and experiences and expertise to be able to bring Bermuda the best option.
And your chief executive officer of the Women's Resource Centre, on Monday, the PLP held a press conference with two government ministers and a government senator, all three women.
Yes.
Basically chanting government's record concerning women's issues and what it's done for women. What did you think of that press conference? Did you think it plausible? Did you find it a bit of window dressing? Do you think the government could do more, or a government could do more to improve the lives of women specifically?
Well, first, before I answer that question, I just want to clarify that right now I speak as Juanae Crockwell, a independent candidate in the election. So I am not speaking as in a professional capacity, but I will answer your question as it relates to the press conference that the PLP had. And I did watch the press conference, and I won't stand here and act as if the current government has done nothing to improve the lives of women or Bermuda. But my question is, how sustainable is what they're doing, right? We have a crisis. We have a cost of living crisis. We have a housing crisis. And things like the daycare allowance do assist women. Absolutely. I will not say that it does not, but it does not address the problem. And that is not sustainable to say that we are going to help women be able to afford living in Bermuda by providing financial support. That's helpful, yes, super grateful, but it's not sustainable. And so we need elected officials who are going to address the reason why women cannot afford daycare. And that is a completely separate conversation. And so, you know, the other comments that were made are about education and employment opportunities, entrepreneurship opportunities. And, you know, there are no statistics that actually show how those initiatives have directly impacted women. I believe that the members in the press conference were asked those questions and they did not have an answer. So I would love to hear that answer on how they can measure the impact of these initiatives. So that's my opinion on it, that there are root causes that need to be addressed, because we cannot, as a country, continue to put band-aids on these problems.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Hi, Ms. Crockwell. Elisa Bernardo with Bermuda Broadcasting News. But now in attendance, we have other independent candidates and former Premier Sir John Swan. And I wondered if you have any political figures or mentors who are backing your campaign, and have they influenced your decision to run at all?
Well, if I can be quite honest, and I wasn't sure if I was even gonna bring this up, but my political mentor is my brother, the late Juanae Crockwell. He was the MP for this area up until 2017, and of course he passed in 2017. And so having a front row seat to his political journey significantly impacted my decision to run as an independent. And of course, I am grateful to have support of other independent candidates, other former political figures. But my decision to run as an independent is entirely my decision. And as I said in my speech, this goes back to 2015, and I'm actually quite proud to say that my brother in his last days sat in the House of Parliament as an independent. And I believe that a lot of that came from my advocacy and my holding him accountable and my asking him if he really thinks that party politics is the answer. And so that's how I landed here.
Thank you. And secondly, you said you were born and raised in Southampton. You must be very familiar with the parish.
Yes.
Have you begun canvassing? Are you aware of what some of the key issues are?
Yes, I have definitely begun canvassing. I had a little chuckle. I said my neighbors are probably, if they're home, they're probably like, what is this girl doing bringing the media here in our neighborhood? But I've been canvassing. And the wonderful part about living in the constituency where I'm running is that I am so well acquainted with the area. Like I said, my children go to Port Royal Primary School. So I've been involved with the parents there. I know what their concerns are. I'm a former PTA president of Port Royal Primary School. And in my canvassing so far, I can share some of the concerns that we have for our local constituencies. So road safety, I think that's a concern across all 36 constituencies. Our roads are dangerous for both motorists and pedestrians, as we have seen in recent days. Also, for us, trash collection is an issue. We need that trash collection to return to being twice a week, because if anyone's familiar with Southampton West Central, we have a pond just down the hill. It attracts rodents, and so trash collection on a once a week basis isn't that great for us. So that's something that they have told me they would like for me to advocate for. Also loitering. In my canvassing of the Evans Bay area, many residents there just have some challenges with loitering at Evans Bay Dock that they have brought to the attention of current representatives, and nothing has happened. And then finally, Port Royal Primary School. We know that Port Royal is scheduled to close, but we have not been consulted on what the use of that building will be for. And my neighbors, we want to know, what's that building going to be used for, and will we have any input? So those are just some of the things, of course, in addition to the national concerns that I think are pretty consistent across all the constituencies.
Understood. And lastly, you touched on party politics no longer serving Bermuda. Given the growing momentum of independent candidates, do you see this movement as a response to dissatisfaction with the current political party?
Yes, definitely. I think that, there are so many people in Bermuda who have a desire to serve, who have a desire to get involved in the running of the government. I personally don't like the word politics. Stuart Hayward many years ago told me that, you don't want to be a politician, you want to be an advocate, right? And so I don't like that word, but there are so many people who would want to get involved in advocacy, in national advocacy, and they don't, because they are not comfortable with joining any of the political parties. They're not comfortable with this system. And so we have amazing, brilliant, influential people who sit on the sidelines because they refuse to get involved in party politics. And so, my decision to run as an independent is because I'm one of those people who have sat on the sidelines for a long time, because I just couldn't see myself making that kind of commitment to party first. And so that is why this independent movement is growing. People are saying, you know what? I deserve to be able to participate in this as well, even if I don't align with any of the political parties.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Any other questions? We're good? Okay, well, thank you for coming. And yeah, I'll see you on February 18th.